Hi everyone, Rose here with the Cackling Moon, and this video is going to be about how I set up my tarot table when I'm doing readings. Um, I am just going to kind of go through the steps, just kind of give you guys some ideas of the way that I do it. Just because I do it one way does not mean that this is the way that you're supposed to do it. So just keep that in mind. Everybody has their own way of setting up their table. This is just how I personally go about doing mine. Okay, so um, to begin, I always find a tarot cloth that I really like. So I buy mine at Walmart or Joann's Crafts, any of those craft shops where they have fabrics, um, and you can buy them for pretty cheap. So Walmart or Joann's, they have fabrics in different patterns. There's also fabrics for each of the seasons. There's also fabrics for the holidays. So this is just a plain green one, and it's a yard. I always buy a yard, and what I do is I unfold it and I lay it over the table. So this is one of the first things that I always do. I love to kind of pick something that has to go with the theme of the reading or the theme of the holiday. So for my spooky readings, I was doing a lot of spooky themed tablecloths, pumpkins. I had a bat one, like just Halloweeny looking tablecloth. So, and I say tablecloth, but a spread cloth, you know. But anyway, that's where I purchased mine. So that's one of the first things that I do. So I pick the spread cloth. Then once I do that, I like to pick. Uh, I like to pick a crystal or two or three or a crap load. It just depends on how I feel. So I usually always have a clear quartz crystal on me. And lately I have been using this one. This is one that I recently purchased when I was off on vacation. So this is a heart clear quartz. So I usually always have a clear quartz on the table. If I'm doing love readings, relationship readings, I tend to go for a rose quartz. I just feel rose quartz is really nice to have for love or relationship, partnership related readings. I usually almost always have an amethyst on the table. Amethyst is really good for you enhancing your psychic abilities and all of that. So I usually always have an amethyst on the table. I have crystals all over the place, so and then just sometimes I go along with the theme. So say there's a reading where the client is focusing a lot about just needing to figure out stuff going on in their lives, their spiritual journey. I usually will put out a smoky quartz because smoky quartz is good for grounding and whatnot. And smoky quartz is also good for absorbing negative energy. So I would put a smoky quartz out. And then one of my favorites also is carnelian. Carnelian to me is one of those stones where it just gives you a boost of self-confidence. So I like to add a carnelian to the table. And usually, typically, I will have these are the four that I usually will have on the table. But I'll add more. Sometimes I'll take one of these out and put something else in instead. It just depends on what I personally feel is necessary for that client's reading. So next, once I pick my crystals, I always have a reading candle. And lately, I've been picking one out for the particular season. So for Halloween, I had a spooky themed candle, and it was the scent of black licorice, and it was really nice. This time for fall, I am using a mixed berry scent candle. And what I do is I dress the candle. So I dress it with herbs, I dress it with flowers, crystals. There's a couple crystals in there. And I just set the intention of the candle for abundance, to clear my mind, to allow me to deliver messages that are necessary to the clients. So I really love to have a candle on the table for that purpose. Now, if I am doing spirit contact readings, I don't have one near me right now, but I will usually light one of my religious candles, whether it's Michael the Saint, Saint, sorry, Saint Saint Michael the Archangel, and Mother Mary. So usually one of the two or both. I guess, and sometimes I'll have like I have a Holy Spirit candle. So sometimes if I feel necessary, I'll light one of those. But I have a whole bunch of different candles. I'm one of those people that loves it. And I'm going to correct myself. I said Saint Michael, but it's Michael the Archangel. I'm sorry, you guys. It's kind of like, it's getting late and I'm tired. But anyway, you guys get the idea. So, light a candle. I usually have, like I said, I dedicate a specific candle for my reading candle. So this candle is going to be the one that I'm going to be using for all of my readings for the month of November. Probably going into December, but I'm thinking for December, like Christmas time, I'm going to be using a cinnamony scent candle because that just reminds me a lot of Christmas time. So I have a reading candle, the crystal, and then the tablecloth. Sometimes I will spray, like this is some lavender scent spray that I created myself. So I will spray the area. That's just to bring some calmness to myself. Or I have oils, like this is the one I made myself. This is the Gardenia Solar Burst oil. I will anoint the cards. And then of course, I have to have my cards. And what I usually do is I will bring the cards out, and if I am doing a spirit contact reading, I always put the cards in order because I just feel it clears the deck and it gets the deck ready for spirit to really relay the message for that particular client. Now, I do not always put the cards in order before a reading. There are times where I just feel like the cards are just ready to go. Other times, like I said, I will anoint the cards with oil. Sometimes I will have incense going and I'll wave the cards through the incense smoke as my quick way of clearing them. It's just whatever I feel is necessary at that time for that particular reading. Sometimes I start a client reading and I feel the need to put the cards in order. And if I do feel that need, I will do so. It's literally your intuitive, just what your intuition tells you. If you feel like it is necessary to put the cards in order, then do it. But it is not a bad thing. You're not a bad reader if you don't. It's just basically what feels right for you. Then as I'm getting ready to start the reading, specifically for my spirit guide readings or my spirit contact readings, I always say a little prayer. And that is just my way of, asking for protection. I ask the angels to be around me. And I say a quick prayer asking spirit or the person in question to come forward. And then I begin the reading. I don't have a specific, like a ritual that I do. I don't have a specific prayer that I say. Like I said, I am one of those intuitive readers where I just go with what feels right at that time. I have had spirit contact readings for clients where I feel the need to close after the reading is over, and do it in a way where I have to literally demand that they leave. That's just the energy that I get. I've had other spirit contact readings or spirit guide readings where my simple, notifying that once I blow out my candle, that is your cue to leave. That's usually what I say. But like I said, I just go based on how I feel is right at that time. Now, let's say we're ready for the reading to start. If I am filming the reading, I have the camera set up, I have the table set up and everything. Sometimes I'll turn music on as background noise. Other times I don't. It just really depends on what I want to do. If it is an email reading, what I like to do is I usually pull the cards ahead of time. And then sometimes, like tonight, I'm going to work on an email reading, but I don't always work on the reading right when I pull the cards. So sometimes I'll pull the cards for the client and then I'll write them down in, I always have my business journal sitting next to me. My business journal carries all of the orders that I have from clients. So sometimes I'll write the cards down for that particular client, and I'll make notes on things that I feel or messages that I feel need to be said. and then I'll go back and type up the email reading later on. I just basically go based on how much time I have. I work a full-time job, so I don't always have time to sit down and do a complete reading as soon as I pull the cards. So you guys got to just kind of work it out based on your own personal schedule. Now, when I'm shuffling the cards, I like to shuffle the cards once for every letter of my client's name, with the exception of the spirit contact readings. If I am doing the tapping into the grave reading, which I have in my shop, I will shuffle the cards once for every letter of the spirit's name that we were contacting. So let's say my client's name was Cat. I'll just do a quick one. I will shuffle once for every letter of the name. So there's 3 letters in the word cat. So I would shuffle the cards 3 times. And then once I do that, they're ready to go, and I'll start picking the cards. I do not have a specific way of shuffling. My favorite is to just break the cards wherever and do the typical shuffle like this. Some days I feel called to shuffle like this. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. I do read reversals. So tarot cards, I read reversals all the time, unless I intuitively feel that the card is meant to be read a specific way. When I am reading with oracle cards, I do not read reversals unless I feel called to. And there have definitely been times where I have felt called to read the oracle card upside down or in reversed. So I basically go strictly intuitively, whatever I feel is necessary. What else? I'm trying to think of other things that I do. After I do the reading or after I pull the cards, I usually take the picture. So if these are, if this is an email reading that I'm doing for a client, I will pick the cards. So let's say I just picked 3 cards, but let's say I'm not ready to do the reading just yet. I will always snap the photo of the cards so that I have it for later. So, you know, I have my crystal set out, I'll have the candle, I like to make it pretty, and I'll snap a photo right then and there of the client's layout. That is what I include in the email when I do the PDF version of the reading. So those are my email readings. If it is a video reading, I do not snap a photo of their cards unless I use it as the opening picture of the video. Sometimes I'll do that, but video readings are just I email my client the link to the YouTube video and they can watch it from there. So that's how I do that. Sometimes you guys will see other little things like sometimes I have rosaries laid out on the table. Rosaries are one of my favorite things, and I think aesthetically they're really nice to have on the table, just for the picture, the benefit of the picture looking pretty. Other times it is necessary because of the type of reading that I'm doing. So if I'm doing like a Catholic witch reading, I will always have the rosary on the table. Sometimes if I feel called to, I will sprinkle some holy water onto the table or into my candle or onto the deck. I will, you know, anoint the deck. I basically go with what feels necessary. So like I said, you guys, there is absolutely no right or wrong way to do things. Other times you guys will notice that I have a book set out on the reading table. It's usually this book. This is my spreads book. So I have a lot of tarot spreads that I personally created. And if I am using a certain reading for a client, and the spread is in the book, I do not have my spreads memorized. So sometimes in the video readings, you will see that I'll have the book open and, you know, I'm doing the cards. That is for the benefit so that I can remember what each of the placements are for the cards. I don't want to make mistakes and get it wrong for my clients. So sometimes you'll see a book on the table. And then other times I will use more than one deck. So Just because I'm going to do a reading with the tarot doesn't mean it's only tarot. Sometimes I'll throw an angel card or an oracle card in there for advice, or just sometimes I intuitively feel called to pull a card from another deck. It's basically whatever I feel comfortable with doing, whatever I feel needs to be done. And 9 times out of 10, when I pull those cards for that client, the message that came through was so necessary for them to hear. So it's just really cool how all of that works out. As far as that goes, I think that pretty much answered the question that this was a anonymous question that was submitted to me through my Tumblr blog. But I think that pretty much answers everything. Again, I think for anybody who's watching this, if you have a certain way that you like to go about setting up your table reading, setting up, all of your stuff for your readings, do it your way, do what feels comfortable for you. But this is just kind of the way that I do it. I've also mentioned that when I'm picking spread cloths and crystals, that I like to coordinate with colors. I do work with colors as well. So the energy of the reading, if it's a love reading, sometimes I'll pick a red tablecloth, or red crystals or pink crystals or whatever. So that's just another thing I could throw in there. But basically, you guys, I hope that this was helpful for you. Please let me know if you have any questions, leave them down below. I would love to hear from you guys and see what you have to say. Thank you again for watching, you guys, and go ahead, and if you want to check out my my website, I will put the link to the website in the description box, and I will see you guys later. Bye.